Today in the web technologies course, we are trying to understand how to create the registration form along with the help of HTML and CSS. After that, we will understand the introduction to JavaScript. So, first, what is the meaning of form we have to understand. The form is a collection of form elements. The form elements are text boxes, check boxes, radio buttons, drop down lists, etc. So, at what kind of situations we require the form? For example, the student wants to apply for examination. He wants to enter the details. So, the student name, registration number, hall ticket number, all these details can be entered inside a form. So, there should be a form with the text boxes, check boxes, radio button, drop down list, and where we can collect the data from the user and we can store the same into database for later usage. So, let us see how to create the registration form and also how to apply CSS styles for that. So, first we have to begin with the HTML basic syntax. So, here I am starting the HTML program. Here this is the beginning point of the HTML program and this is ending point of the HTML program. Inside this, I am writing head. Head is representing non-content information of the page. Body is representing content information of the page. Inside the header, we can write some set of HTML tags, title, meta, link, this type of attributes we can write. So, in the header, I am presently writing title what is the title we want for the form? I am giving the title registration form. So, I want to display registration form in the title bar of the browser. So, let us save this. I am giving the file name along with the .html extension. Click on save. Now, we can see the title displayed, that is registration form, in the title bar. Inside the body, I want to display some heading, heading number 4, that is registration. This will be displayed as a heading for the form. After modification, again we have to save. After saving, we can refresh. Now, after that, to start the form, we have to use a tag called form tag. To close the form, /form. This will be the beginning point of the form. This will be ending point of the form. Inside the form, we can place your form elements such as text boxes, check boxes, radio button, drop down list. Let us see how to create the text box first. To create the text box, input type equal to text. Here input is called as a tag, type is called as attribute, text is a value. Now, let us execute this. Now, we can see a text box where we can enter some values in the text boxes. We can type any value like name, age, email address, phone number, any value we can enter. But if you display just this text box, it is confusing for the user what value he will enter, maybe name or phone number or email address, anything. Now, let us give the description for this text box. For example, I am giving the description name. Now we can display the description name, then we have displayed the text box. Now the user can easily understand that he has to type the name of the user, so he will type his name. Now in real websites, the requirements will be, if we click on this particular name, automatically cursor should be appear in this text box. How do we do this? We have to place this text name inside the tag called label tag, and we have to connect that label tag with this text box by using for attribute. So first let us give ID for this text box. ID is equal to some identification name, for example txt1. Now we are giving label for txt1. And slash label. Here the label tag begins, label tag ends. Inside the label we have name and we have a text box. What is the text box ID? txt1. So when the user clicks on this label, cursor automatically appear in the txt1. This for attribute, ID attribute should refer the same value, that is txt1 for example. We can also give any other name whatever you wish. Now it is the same output, but the difference is when we click on this name, cursor automatically appear in the text box. Let us say again, if we click on name, cursor automatically appear in the text box. Similarly, let us create email address and phone number in the similar manner. To go to next line, we will use BR tag. I am also creating mobile, email. Respective IDs are txt1 and txt2, txt3 also. So we can see 3 text boxes, but there are some problem here. What is the first problem? What if I am typing some wrong mobile number or wrong email address? If we don't check for name and email whether it is correct or not, the user may enter any wrong value in the name and email. So there is a requirement of checking the name and mobile number correct or wrong. How do we check? For checking purpose, we have to write a JavaScript program. That is the basic importance of the JavaScript. Actually, we can do much more activities other than validation, but validation, that means checking the email address, phone number, name, all this correct or not. That is the main requirement of the JavaScript. So after finishing this HTML and CSS, then we will enter into JavaScript also, so that we can understand the practical application of the JavaScript. Now I want to explain the checkbox for you. Checkbox means yes or no type of information. For example, the user wants to receive the newsletters, so then he can check the checkbox. The user don't want to receive the newsletters, he can uncheck the checkbox. If the user wants the option, he will check the checkbox. If the user don't want the option, he will uncheck the checkbox. So whenever we want to present yes or no type of option for the user, then we have to use checkbox. Do you want this option or not required? If option is required, he will check the checkbox. Option is not required, he will uncheck the checkbox. Now let us see receive newsletters. That is a label. Its ID is a CHK1, means checkbox 1. What type of element I want to create here? If I want to create a text box, I will give text in the type attribute. If I want to create a checkbox, then I will give checkbox here. Also ID is a CHK1. So, first I am displaying the checkbox and then receive newsletters label. Then we can see the checkbox. If the user wants to receive the newsletters, he will check the checkbox. Otherwise, he will uncheck the checkbox. Now, we have understood two types of form elements in the form, that is text boxes, check boxes. Text boxes used to accept the value from the user, check boxes used to accept yes or no type of information from the user. Also, I want to display radio button. So, input type equal to radio. I am creating a radio button RB1, that is, suppose I want to provide option for the student whether what type of bank account he wants to have, either savings account or current account or loan account, three types of accounts. So, savings account, ID is RB1. RB1, RB2, RB3. Three options we are providing for the customer, that is savings account, current account and a loan account. Here there is a problem. By default, all these radio buttons can be selectable. See, I am clicking on savings account, at the same time I click on current account. So, both of these are check boxes, so both of these are selected by default. It is not correct. Radio button nature is among few only one should be selected. For example, gender male or female, marital status single, married, divorced. Among few only one option should be selected. If that is the case, then only we have to go for radio button. But in this example, savings account, current account both are selected. So, it is not correct approach. To overcome this problem, we have to group up these three radio buttons together. In that way, both of these, all of these can be grouped up and among these only one can be selected. So, in order to group up all these radio buttons, we have to give a common name for them. Name is, for example, name, I am providing the name bank. You can give any other name, but same name should be provided for all these radio buttons. We have provided same name for savings account, current account, loan account for all these three radio buttons. Now, we can see savings account, current account, loan account displayed and we can select only one among them. When I am selecting the second option, automatically other option is being deselected. Okay. But there is a problem in the radio button. The problem is it is occupying much space in the web page. See, if it is 2 or 3 or 4 options also okay. Assume it is more than 5 options available, 10 options available, 100 options available. Suppose I want to display list of cities, list of states in the country, list of universities. So, there will be hundreds of names. If you imagine hundreds of radio buttons displayed in the web page, that is very problematic because the web page will be full of radio buttons, there is no place for other information. If you have more number of options, instead of radio buttons, prefer using drop down list. So, let us see how to create the drop down list. The drop down list is created by using select tag. Select is unpaired tag. So, the select tag begin here, select tag end here. So, inside the select we can place any number of option tags. Every option tag representing one item in the drop down list. So, here I am placing option, option. This is representing one item. In the same way, we can repeat the same process many times. We have created 3 option tags. So, if you execute this, now we can see a drop down list with 3 items totally. Now, I want to provide some text inside the option. So, I am writing savings account, current account, loan account as above. Now, we can see the account names in this drop down list. Among these, any one can be selected by user. The limitation of drop down list is, in drop down list only one item is selectable. It is not possible to select more than one item in the drop down list. In case if you have a requirement of allowing the user to select multiple options at a time, then we have to use list box instead of drop down list. Drop down list means only one item can be selected by user. List box means more than one item is selectable at a time. So, I am having the same code here, multiple is equal to multiple. By adding this multiple equal to multiple attribute, we can convert the drop down list into list box. In this list box, user can select more than one item. So, this one is a list box. In this list box, user can select more than one item. Suppose I want both savings account and current account. So, I am clicking on current savings account, control click on current account, control click on loan account. In this way, I can select multiple items in the list box. Okay, finally, we can place submit button. To create the submit button, we have to use input type equal to submit. Now, we can see the default button name is a submit query. Instead of submit query, if you want to specify your own text, suppose OK, submit, anything, we have to specify that by using value attribute. So, in the value, we have to specify the text whatever you wish. This is basically which form? Registration form. So, the correct word is register. Now, we can see register button here. So, user will come here, user will enter his name, mobile, email, and if he wants the checkbox, he will select it, and among these 3 any one can be selected. Among these 3 also anyone can be selected in the drop down list. After selecting all the essential options, he will click on registered button. Once the user click on this registered button, this data or information will go to the server. On the server side program developed by using Java or PHP or .NET will execute, and that program will receive these values and store into database. Okay. And here in this form, I want to apply CSS styles. CSS stands for cascading style sheets. The cascading style sheet allow you to apply styles to the text boxes. For example, I want to apply background color, font size, font family, letter spacing, word spacing. All this kind of styles are applied by using CSS. Now, to create the CSS styles, go to head tag, write style tag. The style tag contains the CSS styles. Inside the CSS style, we have to create the CSS classes. The CSS class contains a specific style. For example, I am writing .class1. .class1. .class1 is the name of the class. Now, in this class, I am providing background color, some color name, for example, sky blue. We are writing the sky blue background color for the class 1. But even though we have created class 1, it is not applied really, because we have to set this particular class 1 to any one of these text boxes or labels or any other HTML tags. For example, I want to apply blue color background for this text box. So, what will you do? Here class is equal to class 1 we have to set. Class equal to class 1. So, here we have created the class and we are applying that class to the text box. So, now we can see sky blue background color for the text box. If you want to apply the same style for mobile number, email, other text boxes also, we have to repeat the same class for remaining text boxes also. I am giving class equal to class 1 for all the text boxes. So, the background color will be repeated automatically for all these mentioned text boxes. Not only background color, like this background color we have different properties. Suppose we have color property, font size property, width property, margin property, opacity property. Like this we have different properties in the CSS. All these are used to make the web page beautiful, attractive and make it look professional. Now, let us apply text color. We can give any text color, for example, red. The difference between background color and color is background color property indicates background color itself and color property indicates text color. Now, you can see color text appear in the red color. Also, let us specify font size. Font size, the default font size is 16 pixels. We can increase or decrease the font size. For example, I am writing 22 pixels. Now, we can notice font size of the text boxes has been increased. The default was 16 pixels. Now, we have increased up to 22 pixels. Also, we are applying letter spacing. Letter spacing suppose 5 pixels. Letter spacing indicates gap between letters. Now, if you type some text, now we can see there is a lot of gap between each character to character. The gap can be increased or decreased by using letter spacing property. We have given 5 pixels. That means, in between each character, there is a 5 pixels distance. We also have another property, word spacing. Word spacing indicates gap between words. Suppose I am writing one word, space, other word. There is a lot of gap between each of these words. The gap between words indicated by word spacing, gap between letters indicated by letter spacing. If you want to apply bold, font weight bold. Now, the text is appear in the bold. Font style italic. Font style italic. Now, we can see the text is appear in italic style. Also, we can specify font name by using font family. Generally, if you want to see the fonts list, we can go for the format menu, font. Now, we can see the list of fonts available. We can use any one of these fonts in the font family property. For example, we have a font called Tahoma. I want to apply this font for this text box. So, we have to specify Tahoma font in the double quotes. Now, the font name has been changed. And also, we can specify the border style for the text box. So, border style. First, border style we have to specify. Solid is a default. Solid means the plain border, standard border. Now, notice the border style of the text boxes, it has been changed to solid. Alternatively, we can also write dotted. Now, we can see dotted border for the text boxes, similarly dashed, ridge, groove, inset, outset, like this we have several set of options. Okay, for timing I am writing solid. Also we can specify border width and border color. Border width is 5 pixels. Border color, the default is red, it is saying, because the text color we have given as red. So, the same has been taken as a border color. Now, I want a dark green as a border color for the text box. Now, you can see solid border with the green color. And now, you can notice another point, there is no much distance between one text box to another text box. See, in this area, both text boxes are touching each other because there is no any distance between them. To maintain some gap, that means to maintain the margin for the text boxes, we use margin property. So, we can specify margin 5 pixels. We can write any number of pixels, and that will be gap surrounding the text box, means in all the sides, top side, right side, bottom side, left side, in all the 4 sides, it will maintain this 5 pixels margin. And also we can specify the border for a particular side, only for a top side, only for right side, only for bottom side, only for left side. Instead of giving just border, if you write border top, that will be applied only on the top side. In case if you write border bottom, that is applied only on the bottom side. In case if you apply border left, that is applied only on the left side. In case if you apply border right, that is applied only on the right side of the text box. We can set any one of these. Okay, again I am setting it as a border. So, border means by default in all the 4 sides it is applied commonly. We also have another property called text transform uppercase. Text transform uppercase, that indicates all the letters whatever you type should be appear in the uppercase letters. So, I am typing uppercase. What are the characters you type, that appears in uppercase by default. Even though the caps lock is off, that is by default taken as uppercase. In case if you mention capitalize, the first letter will be capital, remaining will be every word first letter capital. In every word first letter capital. Like this we can specify different CSS properties to make the web page beautiful. Okay, now I want to arrange these registration form neatly in the order, perfect order. Then we can place all these registration form inside a table. So, we can place a table. In the table, every field is represented as one row, and the first cell is represented as a label, second cell is represented as a text box. So, we can place table tag begins, inside the table tag tr tag, inside the tr tag td tag begins. So, the tier tag starts a row in the table, TD indicates a table cell. Inside the table cell, we are placing the label. Now, the label is a part of the cell inside a row. Like that, we can place another cell. In the second cell, we are placing the text box. Similarly, you can place another row with another TD. Another row. Now, we can see the table. First, in the first cell we have a name, then we have a text box in the right side. Mobile is in the first TD, second TD should have a text box. So, let us continue this. The second TD we have to place the text box. We have another row. In that, again we have to take one TD. In the second TD, text box. First cell contain the checkbox. First cell is empty, second cell contain the checkbox. Now, the TD close with the TR close. Finally, the table should be closed. Now, we can see all the text boxes are aligned neatly one by one. Like this, we are able to create registration form along with the CSS styles. So, that is all for today. In the tomorrow's lesson, we will see how to create the JavaScript. That means how to perform the validations we will see in the next class.
Who is it?